What's up?
Praise the Lord, you guys. How have you been?
So this is a show by teens, for teens, and just for you.
Yes, and people from America are just tuning in to watch us.
Eish, what were United States of America? Just in, what was South Africa?
Watu wa Nigeria, utaambia nini watu? Don't miss out, bwana. Hey.
Ukikosa utachekwa kweli kweli.
So we're going to have interactive topics
with powerful guests,
doing awesome activities
such as the DIYs and many others.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Don't forget to hit the notification bell.
Yes, and now as we join in, come with us even as we get into a powerful session.
So welcome guys, as we said, we got you. His show near Martins. So Mercy, 100 days into the pandemic, how has it been for you?
Well, 100 days into the pandemic of COVID-19, it has been very positive and negative at the same time. Positive because I'm able to improve on my skills of playing bass guitar, and negative because I've not been able to go back to school and staying at that time, losing a lot of time.
Man, we're just stranded. What have you, Ron?
Yeah, for me, the pandemic has been good so far because one of the things that most teenagers long for is spending time with their families.
Yeah.
And this pandemic has given them the ability to spend more time with their parents, their parents are learning new skills from them. Exactly. But sadly, on the flip side of it, there has been rise in family conflicts back at home. So these are some of the challenges that we are going to address today. I don't know, how has it been like for you?
I think it has been very saddening because you find a young person being able to talk back to the mother rudely. You know, it's about time we step up as the teens and come to get a solution to this. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, so before we start, let's kick off with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we come before you. We thank you for such an opportunity that you've given unto us to speak to your people. Even as we start, may you prepare their minds, may you open up their hearts for your word, Heavenly Father. May it lay an impactation onto their lives. I pray this, believing, trusting Jesus' holy name. Amen.
Amen. So, this day, as we come up with a solution to COVID-19, we have a special guest just for you. Well, he is a Bible scholar, having studied theology from the Beacon University in the United States of America. Yes. In addition, this guy is an engineer. Like, oh my God, that just inspires me. And he has done engineering in the University of Egerton. Just to top of it up, he's the lead pastor, as a matter of fact, in the Life Celebration Center, Deliverance Church International, Nakuru. He is a mentor, he's our father. And now let's welcome Reverend Elijah Mwangi.
Hey, hi Lon.
Hello.
Hi Mercy.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Lovely to be with you guys.
Lovely to be.
How is it?
It's good.
Good to see you, Lon, after some beautiful time. We've been away. Mercy too. I missed my doctor around me. But I hope you're good.
Yes.
Yes,
wow,
we are good, sir.
Wow.
So, how have you been 100 days into the pandemic with the family?
Well, the story about being in the pandemic has been a journey. It has kind of changed a lot of things in my life. There are many economic issues that have been affected, social issues, matters of being able to reach out to the community through this new form of preaching. It's not been easy preaching to an empty sanctuary, and basically it has been a very challenging moment for me.
Yes, and I know, like right now, you have to preach to everyone in front of a camera. It's a bit of a challenging, but it's the only way we have to go.
Right.
So, as a result of the pandemic, it has affected us as teens positively. We find out that, just as Ron had mentioned, many families have been able to be together. You know, after the curfew, you can get now to see your dad, your mom, and there's no moving out. However, we will first start with our first challenge. Well, families are being broken. There are a lot of conflicts, and yeah, what do you think about that?
I think this is what we are calling the shadow pandemics. They are quite a number. One is because when the pandemic came, people were told to go back to their homes. You guys came from school, found us at home. People left their place of work and they came. So you can imagine this space, which was having maybe two people, your mother and father, is now having more people. So in other words, there'll be a lot of conflicts and the conflicts is what you call conflict of space. And the space we are talking about is about economic space. You guys, you know very well as teenagers, the kind of a bread you want to eat. You don't want to say, I'm going to be having a slice. So that affects the economic aspects. The number of times we were making meals before, when you were in school, were fewer. And we know that very well you're going to be there for a few months, then you go back to school. And here we are. So we conflict in terms of the way economic space. We also conflict, there's a conflict because of this just sudden gathering of the people in terms of social space.
Yeah, true.
You are not used to your daddy always sitting there and looking at the way you're behaving and so on, and you feel sometimes you're not comfortable. So also social space. You have already been denied the opportunity to be out there with your friends. So the opportunities that actually you have out there to vent your anger, frustration, pain, struggles, you don't have it. And you're now within an environment where you cannot be able to actually that. So to me, this is what we would call the shadow pandemic as a result of struggling or striving for the same space. So here we are striving the space with your daddy, mama, your siblings, both in terms of every area. So basically, unless a very comprehensive mechanism is really thought about, then I think we are in a situation that needs to be addressed. We must come up with mitigation measures to ensure that the things that we are seeing are not escalating. But at the same time, I'm good to know that you have also good things that have happened. I'm very sure now you could have learned your mother tongue a bit. You know how could possibly be doing how to wash dishes better than you had.
Yes,
you
totally.
even know how to relate. You now understand your father, you understand your mother better than you used to. So I think with that we can have a narrative around the benefits and the narratives and in that narrative the pros and the cons of this COVID-19.
Yes, and it's good that you mentioned the economic perspective of it, because a lot of parents, there have been job losses, like it's far and wide, internationally, locally, people have lost their jobs. And sadly, the things that our parents were able to provide for us as luxuries before, we are not able to get them right now because of the pandemic. And this has resulted to most teenagers getting into crime to to get their luxuries. Like, I need a new pair of shoes. My parents were buying for me shoes like almost every month or at the end of every term. Right now, I cannot get the shoes. What can I do? There's peer pressure out there. So, which will result me to go get into crime, get new shoes to show off to my friends. What is your take on that?
The issue of crime, if you were to look at it as a shadow pandemic, it's simply just like what you've put across, that the peer pressure is there. Your parent is not able to provide the way he was providing before.
Yeah.
And you are at a stage where no is not an answer. You believe that I must have it. You believe that my father was providing. It takes time to synthesize the fact that now my parent is not making money as they were making. And even when you look at the provision in the house, it's to a level where now the parents are struggling. So to me, I will not justify the issue of the teenagers This is what I put. The teenagers and the young people are being forced to mature faster, to come to a place of understanding. Yes, there are some times when things are bad, and I have to really raise up my understanding so that in the event that my parents are not able to provide, I will be able to analyze the situation. That is what I'm saying, that now the younger people, it's like you have been pushed now to start thinking like, if you are 19, you are supposed to be now thinking like a 25 years old. So there is that pressure, that pressure that is pushing you up to a mode you are not used to. Because understanding times of difficult, times of challenges would have come up later after you have finished school, because you have already had an example or an experience that, well, I am now out of my family. I have gone to look out for a job. So it is now pushing you guys to start thinking, if you're in high school, to start thinking like a university student. If you're in university, you start thinking like somebody who is already past the university. You have been pushed to a mold, and therefore it calls for an adjustment. You need to really adjust so that you are able to say, yes, it is this is how the situation is.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad the way you talk to us in a perspective of understanding.
Yes.
And in matters of adapting to the environment, well, in terms of spiritually, some parents have been really, really awesome in impacting us spiritually. However, others are not really focused on. But you find some children have been really impacted spiritually, because at most times they will not get time to talk to God, you know.
Yeah.
But having in mind this family that doesn't know anything, what advice could you give them towards proper achieving spiritually, like getting to grow spiritually? Yeah.
Let me just say this, Mercy. COVID-19 has not come to finish the people, but it has come to reveal what kind of a foundation was in somebody's life. Jesus said that you can either build your house on the sand or you can build it on the stone. And when the rains come and the winds come, like the COVID-19 is a wind, is a rain, it reveals to us. And sometimes it can be very shaming for a parent to be exposed in terms of their spiritual naivety. Let me not, you know that you are exposed now to your children, that you don't know how to pray, you don't know how to read the Bible. But I think it is a very good position that now say, well, if this is what I am, and this is a group of young people or the family members looking to me as a priest, then I have to really up my game. So in that process of upping your game, you realize that God is also working upon parents.
Yes.
So this is a blessing in this guy, and not only parents but also other Christians. There are Christians who have never seen this kind of a thing, and now it has just boomeranged over their life. They don't know even what to do, how to behave. But at the end of the day, now they can be able to come back and say, surely, I think if this is who I have been, I think it's a time for change. And that change now is a transition not only for the parent, but also for the family. But I'm so grateful to God that there are some families that now the altar is very strong. The children now know how to pray. They have regular Bible studies. There are people now who are forming choirs in their families. There are musicians that are coming up. Well, to me, this is a very fantastic moment because it is soul searching. So to me, that is the perception. They should not give up. Despite that your ignorance, your naivety about your relationship with God is already revealed, they should not give up, but just to start. You know, we have already said, though I was down, I will rise up. And because now you have 3-4 months, if you start reading the Bible from today, 4 months down the line, you'll have known so many scriptures, and it'll have changed your life.
Yes, I really loved the way you said you're talking about family and the building a family from the basic foundation right now that you're spending much time together. And I know you have teenagers at home.
Yes.
I don't know if there are any activities that you've engaged in that have strengthened your bond as a family, that maybe people out there are looking for these solutions, like what can we do as a simple family that can strengthen and our bond as a family?
I think during this time, I would really proudly say that my teenagers are really engaged. From the first few days when schools were closed, we started gardening. They didn't know how to plow. I have a video of one of them who kind of, the first day they started plowing behind, and we don't plow behind. So that gave me an opportunity to know my guys don't know even how to dig. So I just said, you don't dig behind, you dig moving forward. And then after that, we bought some seedlings, we planted onion, we planted spinach, we planted quite a number of vegetables within our small plot, wherein we allocated. I also bought some some pets for each and every one of them so that they can be able to take. I bought some puppies, 3 puppies, and to each and every one of them I gave. I built the cage for the puppies with them. I also ensured that they're the one cooking for them. Besides that, most of the times they are now responsible. We kind of told our house help to go home so that everybody in the house has a duty to both cook, to clean the dishes, to clean the houses, and each and every one of them, because now there is no house help, every one of them have to wash their clothes. So there are many skills, and together with that, we ensured that each and every one of them perfected their skills. So one is doing guitar very well, the other one is doing the keyboard, the other one is doing the bass guitar. So, and they have a weekly program of doing practices for their songs. So it is basically a very intensive time. I also, most of the things that I do, they would be able to do. I would send them to the market. Mama would send them to the market, and so on. Now that the first one is able to drive, they're even given a vehicle, go to the market, go to the supermarket, do the shopping, and you give them the money that is there, and you tell them, budget for it yourself. So choose what you're going to eat, choose what you're going to drink. And you know now that the money is not a lot. You're also instilling skills of how to use the money during challenging times.
Wow, I love the way you engage your family. So I think we should also implement the same. So parents watching with your teenagers, teach us these things, yeah.
Right.
So with the family and getting to do things together, well, there comes that point where there's too much familiarity with maybe the relatives and the children around. And this familiarity can bring to a danger, right? A danger where we've had many teen pregnancies are coming up, and we are wondering, have we not instilled, as parents that is, have we not instilled enough to our children to do the same? What's your take on this?
Masa, you must admit that young people have a lot of energy. That's a fact.
It's a fact.
Young people have a lot of energy, and they spend that energy in activities. Our young people, 100%, none of them would really, like we're talking about sexual immorality in terms of incest, sex between brothers and sisters and family members, and that is on the rise. It's sometimes because it is two-sided, is that the parents are on assumption that these are still our young people. Yeah. And they are family members, and they cannot do that kind of evil. Okay. But they forget that these young people, because of having a lot of free time with themselves, and they have the electronics, they have the gadgets with them, due to boredom sometimes, they may swing into pornography. And when they swing into pornography, is that the mind, which is the battlefield, is compromised. So even when they are getting into sexual immorality, it is because there's a lot of free time. They have fed their mind with a lot of evil ideas to the extent that now, when they get an opportunity, then they experiment. And out of ignorance, you find that now there are so many teenagers who are pregnant, there's a lot of incest, there is a lot of homosexuality, there is a lot of lesbianism, all those kind of things that are taking place. But I would say this, that if we as parents don't lower our guards and still keep a keen eye on our young people without assuming that they cannot do. You know, assumption that these guys cannot engage in these kind of things is wrong. So we still need to really keep a keen eye on our young people, then kind of come up with a program of which I am very sure young people don't want to be caged. But it's sometimes good to understand that you're in authority. You are under authority.
So yes, as parents back at home, take the stand and stop the assumption that they cannot do it. We have a lot of energy, yeah? And with this energy, it has brought some positive. Like there are so many innovations that the young people have engaged in. Some of the innovations are like making of masks. And I loved the way that you said that you engage your children in activities that they can also generate some income from that. So what is your perspective on teenagers and finances?
To me, at the moment, we should exploit the creativity of our young people. In that, as parents, and not only as parents, but as churches and communities, we should encourage the teenagers and the young people to come up together and brought forth an idea, because you are the people who are in the community. You know the need of the community. So one, with the ability to innovate and with your strength, you should float up the ideas which you have, come into a group. I know the social distancing and all the whole issue, but as a group, it is possible for you to come up with an idea. If you're talking about making masks, if you are talking about going to encourage people who are discouraged, if you're talking about selling, I have some young people here who now are selling foodstuffs. One is making close to 2,000 per day.
Wow,
she
nice.
buys doma and guashe and has a stand here at Kwaronda.
That's really
So
nice.
anybody coming up with an idea among us, and especially the need at the moment, identify the need in the community. The need in the community is food. Anybody doing business for food, get your eggs, stand somewhere with a tray, make your money, go home in the evening. Look for some cabbages, go to a place where the people, because everybody now is looking for the basic need. And your entry point is simply at food level. I saw a young man, yesterday I ate ugari. I ate ugari at home, in which my son removed some maize that was bought at home and it dried up, akatoa, akaenda akasiaga, akareta nyumbani, akamwambia the mother, today I'm selling the unga. Another day, he corrected all the metals, the scrap metals at home. He went, akauza 630, akanitumia 200 ni lunch. You see, can you see that? So yeah. You look around, there is money around you. I don't say that you go about taking your father's bicycle and scrap it to the market. But what I'm putting across is, there is a lot. Either you can buy from the market, fruits are needed. I am seeing so many young people selling lemons. So many people selling garlic. So many people selling. What is the need in the market? And you know what I've always said? You make money by solving people's problem.
Yeah.
The problem now is fear of COVID. Provide mask, tell us to eat a lot of vegetables, give us some lemons and so on. So there are a lot of, look for opportunities in the problem. If you look for opportunities in the problem, you're good to go.
So with that, let's have an icebreaker for just a bit and we'll be back.
Wesley, and I'm from LCC. And my question was, since the beginning of this pandemic, we have seen in rise of teenage crime. So, what can us teenagers or the youth do so that we can reduce this teenage crime? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Michelle Mora from Bishop Gatimu in Form 3. So my question is, there has been mass awareness and communication concerning the negative effects of teenage pregnancies. And as you have just told us, this can be curbed by parents being cautious of their children. So what if my parent sells at the marketplace and she's not able to take good caution over me? So what can you advise for me to do so as to not engage in teenage pregnancies?
I think I just need to first respond to Michelle. One is the numbers that have been put on the media are questionable. I personally don't believe that we have like 4,000 teenagers who have gotten pregnant within 3 months. One is because teenagers are very secretive. Even if they got pregnant, they will not say it openly. So the numbers are questionable, but that does not mean that we don't have. True. What I would encourage is every family knows its setup. The families that stays with cousins, the families that their cousins who stay together, and they stay together at this moment. My encouragement is that the parents, because most of the parents now, even those who have been employed and they're out of employment, have started new ventures. I would encourage that they get opportunities to go out so that they interrupt their routine. So today you could be at home, but tomorrow I'm going with you. So that means you are interrupting the routine. So if we are able to interrupt the routine, so that's the first thing. The other thing is the society should now become more responsible. When we grew up, mtoto ni wa jamii. You belong to a community. But these days, ni mtoto wangu, ni mtoto wa jirani. But if as a community, we rose up again and started raising our children as a community, then that would reduce the issues. But above all, it is also good to keep on talking, because at this age, you might not take a whip and start whipping your girls, but you walk with them through. Create an atmosphere in which they can open up and say, Mommy, I have this feeling towards this and that. Daddy, I have this feeling towards this and that. When they are able to open up within the family setup, then you are able to solve the problems before they occur. But when they close it up, then you will have a problem. So it is time that we parents become closer and more friendlier to our daughters and sons, so that it becomes very easy for them to open. Two is that as young people, you have an opportunity, because you are a product of what you think. Because as a man thinks, so does he become. So by getting a lot of time to entertain immoral thoughts in the mind, you will become immoral in behavior. So I would really encourage as young people that you take time to occupy your mind with productive activities. You can read books which are not influencing you immorally. You can listen to music. You can form family groups in which you can have activities that take a lot of your time. But I believe that we can be able to go through this, because there is no way out apart from confronting it. So, and I think young girls and young men, it is time you also spoke up. I know you really are tempted to go into to experimentation, but also you also know the consequences. This is not something you will do once and now you are pregnant and you think life will continue as it was. It won't be the same again. You will have a dependent. So for that, it is good time that we go into that direction. Let's devise ways, and especially occupying and diversifying the programs of our children. Today they are at home. Tomorrow let's go with them to the place of work. The activities in the house we do together, let's do that together. Avoid late night. I know you guys like staying until 1, 2 on those phones. And sometimes this is a perilous time. Please go to bed early. And when you get involved in the family program, naambia wewe ndio utapika breakfast kesho. Na sisi tunatoka hapa 7. You cannot sleep until 10 and you have to sleep early. So let's interrupt the program. And when your program is interrupted, know it's for your good. Let's talk about the issue of crime. When you talk about the young people, I've seen over the social media, young men who have been killed of late because of getting involved in crime. The crime has something to do with the economy of the land, as we mentioned. In that, our GDP has fallen from about 5.7, now we are at 1. So that means there is no flow in finances in the land. And as a result, young people, like we have, Lon, you're the one who said, they are getting involved to buy things which their parents cannot afford. Yeah. But I think it is important for us to teach our young people that life is more than food and clothing. In that, your character and your name is better than silver and gold. Because today you'll be rewarded somebody who is a thief. And that is something, it's not your character, it's something that is being pushed to. I think it is good time that we exercise self-control. The Bible tells us that a man without self-control is like a gate, is like a city without a gate. Anybody will come in and go out. I would encourage the young people to pull up their socks, up your game in matters of self-control. Please understand, this is a time to make a very individualistic decisions. There are some of you who will never go back to school. There are some of you who are going to lose their lives through crime and so on. And for me, my desire is that every young person, if you keep yourself busy, you are going to avoid those loopholes.
Good. Well, I think we shall take 2 more questions from the audience.
Hi, I'm Keith. I'm a member of LCC Church, and currently I'm a Form 4 candidate at Nyahururu High School. See, I like to talk about job opportunities, but there are these 2 kinds of people. There are people who have ideas but no resources, and there are people who don't have ideas and have resources that they cannot see. So how can they cope up with their day-to-day life?
There must be a platform. Thank you, Keith, for your question. There are people who have ideas, and there are other people who can volunteer for the idea. I think for us to be able to meet, there are structures that exist. And one of the structures is the church. Through your pastor or your leader in the youth, you can forward the ideas. And from that, come up. I'll give you an example. I have a young man who was a caretaker somewhere. And he told me, Pastor, I feel there is a great opportunity. I want to keep chicken. Want to rear chicken. I said, how much money do you have? He says, I don't have a lot of money. But I told the person, I can buy for you. We can partner. I buy for you 50 chicken. I'll give you the capital for buying the 50 chicken. You will be the one to feed them and to correct the eggs on time. So with that, that person's idea found somebody to finance it. Never keep quiet with your idea. You look for somebody you have confidence in. You look somebody who can mentor you and discuss that idea. But the greatest thing we need to do is that you must be ready to start small so that you come in. A few days, a lady walked here and said, Pastor, I am not employed. I don't know what to do. I said, what can you do? See, naweza uza ndoma. How much does it cost? 5K. How much do you have? 1K. See, I'll give you 2K, you have 3. Go and start. Went back to the market. You can see, capital is not the issue. Lack of ideas is the issue. What can you do? If I had someone saying, I'm going to make spices for sale, then out of trust and the relationship we have, maybe I can say, I'll give you 200 shillings, add to what you have. And there are many people who are willing to help us. It's only that you have to speak your idea so that you can find it. Look for platforms. There is what we are calling the church. There is the county government to some extent. There are the youth programs, and so on. Those are platforms within which you market your ideas and you can make money out of it. But I want to let you know, most of these ideas must be timely. There are things that will not work now, but it will work later. That is why you said, identify where the challenge is in the community and provide solutions to that. So what is needed is what the market, what is needed is what is the employment opportunity. So match your ideas. The young people who came up with the issue with the softwares for tracking people with COVID, they're making their own money because that is the in thing. All right? Yeah. So I think that think around that area, then come up with those ideas. Thank you, Kate.
Yeah, I think we'll have the final question from the audience.
Yes, my name is Jemima Ndirangu, Form 3 from State House Girls, and I have a question. So, okay, as we have seen, there are many cases of incest are increasing. So, which programs are you going to advise the teenagers to watch so as to help them grow spiritually, mentally, or physically?
I believe that there are programs which are not, that cannot defile you, all right? And any program which has sexual issues and orientation towards it will not really be very advisable for you at this time. But I would really encourage you. I've seen some young people who have now started doing a lot of cooking because there are a lot of programs on cooking. I've seen many young people who are now doing farming because there are a lot of programs on farming. I've seen people who are making masks because they have been watching YouTube channels on making masks. I've seen people who are playing keyboards simply because it's not because they had a tutor, but they use the tutor on YouTube to do that. There are people who are also being trained, like exercises. I have been introduced by my guys at home on the exercise program because they say, Daddy, you don't have to really be doing the vigorous exercise you're doing in the gym. There is a 10-minute exercise which you can do every morning. And that program can keep you busy for 2 months. So it is important for you to look for programs which will fill your day. And also, the most critical part now is that you need to know how to manage your time. Come up with a program, fill it, get to see when do I study, when do I watch my favorite programs, when do they come, and don't watch any program or any clip because somebody has sent it over to you. I liked what you did, Lon, that now you can be able to do a Bible study on WhatsApp with a group of people. That is fantastic. We are occupying ourselves with that. So there must be activities that are going to be keeping you busy, but yet they have good results. They have good results. And if it is anything that is defiling you, if it is something that is making you very emotional in terms of your body makeup, I want to let you know it will not be advisable. And also, that to me is know how to program your time, get to stagger your activities, not just sitting. You might not be able to know how to wash the windows, but occupy yourself with some activity, like you wash your windows, you sweep the compound. All those kind of things are keeping you busy. Don't sit down on the seat from morning to evening, glued to your screen from morning to evening on that screen. I want to encourage you, diversify the activities which you're going to be doing every day so that you'll be able to spend your time wisely.
Wow, Dad, I'm really encouraged. I wish we could continue a bit more longer, but we have to cut it short. So, as from this point, what is your parting shot?
My parting shot is, you have all the time you would have wanted to have in the world. Make the best use of it. You are a product of the books you read and the people you meet. Read the right book, meet the right people. Either online or even physically. You will change your life by reading the right book and by the people you meet. Avoid meeting people who are toxic on your Facebook, on your social media platform, and I want to let you know your life will be a different piece of artwork. God bless you.
God bless you too. Such nice words, wise words from a wise man. And this is where we call it off for today. Stay tuned, subscribe to our channel, like and share. Thank you very much.